So only you're right.
No. I did not say. I just said. No, you're putting words in my mouth, Adam. There's evil Republicans. There's evil Democrats. But what the Democratic Party did for this past 4 years, if you can't tell me that was evil with all the shit they're doing, with letting in all the kids going missing, open border, drugs poisoning Americans, going after the president, and then the guy gets shot in the head because you're calling him Hitler. Yeah, they're the enemy. Well, they're the enemy, period. End of story.
In this clip from the Patrick Bet David podcast, we see Vinny Oshana losing his mind, having a mental health crisis here. This is a right-wing podcast, and we don't have progressive voices on here. I just want to show you a little bit of it. The clip is about Bill Maher accepting an invitation to the White House. So Bill Maher is a dude that has been outspoken anti-Trump, and now he's, hey, I guess I'll go visit the dude, which I think is not ultimately surprising, but is interesting, and that these guys are talking about it. Vinny here is calling the Democrats the enemy. The enemy. It really is just a whole litany of all of the, black is white, up is down, crazy conspiracy. Right. It's the Democrats who are committing acts of evil against this country, and not the party in power that is taking a chainsaw to the government and cutting beloved social safety programs and denying food that's already paid for to people who are in need of it. Look at the town halls, the cruelty, the overt cruelty of it and incompetence of it. Signalgate is on display, and yet people like Vinny here are still convinced that somehow it is the left. Look, and I'll be the first person to say that there's lots of problems with the Democratic Party, right? I don't think that everything they do is good or well-advised or competent all of the time. But I think that calling them the enemy is bonkers on its face. Anyway, why don't we watch this together? I'll have a couple of thoughts, and then when I can't take it anymore, I'll tap out and I will ask what you think in the comments.
Bill Maher is now apparently going to the White House to visit Trump. And he's getting a lot of slack for it. When he was on a podcast, Kid Rock was there a couple of weeks ago and said, I want you to come meet Trump. And I'm going to take you to the White House, and we're going to go there. And then Kid Rock said a Trump supporter appeared on Real Time. Maher predicted backlash from left, saying, and there will be lots of people on the left who will be like, how dare you talk to this man? It's like, F you. I'm not playing this game that you mean girls play. Oh, you know that. You can't. Is this the clip, Rob? Of what he says? Okay, play that clip, Rob. It's better off I'm saying.
Rob was here a couple of weeks ago, and he said, I want you to meet Trump. He said, I'm going to take you to the White House. So now we're going to do that.
I think that's a good
there will be lots of people on the left who will be like, how dare you talk to this man? It's like, fuck you. I'm not playing this game with that you mean girls play.
Schultz.
Yes. Where like, oh, you know what? You can't sit at my lunch table because I'm just not talking to you. Not talking to you, you lost the election. Who the fuck do you think you have to talk to? It's one thing if you win it. It's another thing if you lose it.
You got to start talking to people.
Have to talk to. And I see Gavin Newsom is doing this now. He's changed his tune. He's got a podcast, and the first guest was Charlie Kirk.
I thought that was, I thought that was brilliant.
He mentioned me. He said, like, I'm noticing what Bill does, talks to both sides, like, is left-leaning, but not afraid to criticize the people on his team. Like, we got to get more of this going. This has to become the center. This has to become a real center. Right now, it's like it's a few lonely islands that need to become a bigger fucking sandbar.
Yeah, no, for real, you're right. Like, it needs to be normalized.
The problem I have with that concept, I'm not against dialogue. The problem I have with it is that the right doesn't. Patrick Bet David and these clowns. Included, and Vinny Oshana included, is they're not arguing in good faith, right? Their reality is that somehow the left are these vampiric, child molesting. It's not in good faith. So if you're going to have meaningful conversation, everybody has to come to the table willing to put ideas on the table and talk them out. The left is willing to do that and has been, and they just keep getting handed their ass because the right, they don't have any ideas. The Republican platform is literally nothing. Project 2025 is the dismantling of American democracy. Read it. It's 900 pages of how to dismantle American democracy like they did in Hungary. So there's no, we have to normalize it. We have to normalize the crazy. It's like, well, let's meet them halfway to crazy. No, guys, until they are ready to have a pro-American conversation and bring ideas to the table for making America a better place for all Americans, there's no conversation to have. And if you move towards them, when Bill Maher talks about the center, there's no center between, reasonable progressive ideas that we think are going to make lives in America better for all Americans, and let's tear this down and just have an autocracy for the rich. There's no center. There's no, right? There's no, well, here's our stance, and then there's over the cliff. Well, let's meet in the middle. In the middle is over the cliff, guys. It's bonkers. And it seems like Bill Maher, who I have disagreed with in many, many times in the past, is now espousing is like, well, maybe they're right about some. Once you get to there, you're nuts, right? The Kool-Aid's already in your system.
Adam.
Well, Bill Maher is absolutely right. I mean, I don't care what he says, no matter what he does, he's always, always, always going to be left of center. His city could burn down. They can chop off all the dicks in California. He's still going to be like, I'm still with Gavin. He doesn't care. But he's at least willing to have the conversation. Like, he'll go to the edge of the line. He'll look over on the other side, be like, not yet. How old is Bill Maher, by the way? He's got to be 70. No? So what you have to give him credit for is that he's at least willing. 69, dude. He's about to be 70 next year. He's at least willing to have that conversation.
Sure. I mean, let's talk to the autocrat. Let's talk to the wannabe dictator and see what he has to say. Let's at least hear his pitch, his side of the story, right? Third term. I mean, maybe there's something valid to it.
I mean, you had a great conversation with him on the podcast, and by conversation, I mean he spoke to you for about 2 hours, and you said,
Vinny,
you asked him a couple questions.
Okay, well, listen, this is my opinion. You guys are going to like it because I know where, you guys, the dialogue is good. I know people want to hear it, but here's the thing. Why Bill Maher still does it right now? I know he's kind of shifting, but he called Trump a Nazi, Hitler, a traitor, an idiot, criminal, threat to democracy. What are they going to meet about? He also said he belongs in prison. He made fun of his family. He called people that support him stupid. And in 2016, he wrote did a special called Whiny Little Bitch to trash Trump. And let's not forget, he offered $5 million, do you remember this, to charity if Trump could prove his dead mother didn't have sex with an orangutan. Okay, let's just put that out there, okay? That's not criticism, that's freaking hate, okay?
It also happens to all be true, provably true by any metric. I mean, he isn't literally Hitler, but that's a metaphor. I mean, read your history. It's a playbook, and it's blow by blow. So it's not, you guys were calling Obama Hitler, and that's bonkers. That doesn't hold water. But comparing what this administration, the first time and now, is doing to what Hitler did with the Third Reich is kind of blow for blow. It's a playbook, guys. Now, the orangutan thing, I think, is a kind of a tasteless joke. I don't know that there's any proof for that. But everything else.
And to me, it's what is that going to help Trump? Seeing Bill Maher in the White House is going to do what? I'm just curious. He's not going for re-election. To me, all it does is hurt the opposite side, because let's be real. People like Gavin Newsom, okay? He's not a political opponent. He's the enemy, okay? If he gets into the power, what do you guys think he's going to do? All this podcasting and all this thing, to me, it's making them look like, yeah, the other side is good, because it's not about us. The Republicans are going to vote for him. Their side is going to go, you know what? Gavin seems... Hold on.
Let me ask you a question.
You can, but let me finish. We're making him seem like he's a good person because he's speaking on a podcast. Adam, do not let these people fool you. Once they get into power, That guy is a full of shit snake. Okay, you don't, this is war. You don't hand the enemy the microphone. You don't give them a platform. You don't give them the spotlight. You don't make them look good, because once they go in, don't get it twisted, bro. This is positive and negative. It's good and evil. Gavin Newsom, you want to make him look good for what? Look at what he does to the state. Look at California, okay? We dodged a bullet with Kamala. I'm not a fan of it. They're the enemy, bro. Why make them look good?
Wow. I mean, there it is. I got to tap out. This is so infuriating to me to listen. He's convinced of this. I don't think this is an act. I think he really believes that what the current administration is doing is it's good for America. And again, look at these town halls. The rest of the population who don't live in whatever bubble you're living in don't agree with. And he saying Trump isn't going to run again. Yeah, he is. He's just said it. That's been part of the plan the whole time. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. And this idea of that Americans are enemies with one another, that red state, blue state, that we're enemies, that's Civil War stuff. That's Civil War stuff. And it is not the Democrat side that is fueling that. You accuse them of that because we are telling you the truth, that this is autocracy, that this is oligarchy, that they are trying to destroy democracy because it is a playbook that has been done in Hungary and Turkey again and again. Yes, and in Nazi Germany. It's not new. We didn't invent it. It happened in Rome. This is how you turn a democracy into an autocracy. And let me tell you something. You don't win that, my friend. None of us win that. So we're just calling it like it is literally unfolding. Read Project 2025. And yet you're saying we're the ones that are blah, blah, blah. We're not. It's you and your fucking friends that are tearing this country apart. We have to wake up together. We have to come together and call a spade a spade. The man's a convict. He's a con man. He's incompetent. And all of his cronies are billionaires and incompetent. Pete Hegseth? Jesus Christ, dude. Wake up.